what's happening.
There? Like that?
You're pretty brave. You're brave letting me handle this.
Some over there. You can sit in those black chairs, folks. It's on a clipboard going around outside.
No, the other one.
They have it outside.
Yeah, we got to make sure that non-residents can come in. They just
Only residents in school.
yeah, it's only residents.
Oh my God, let me get rid of this stuff. No, you can't.
You might want to correct that.
Yeah, that's how it be staying outside. I'm telling you, no. Hi, Gail. Hey. We did say we have to come in one of those things. I think I'm older than you.
We had more.
Really? See, I never would have.
They did. They ran in and out of everybody's yard. I said, they're probably looking
Very opposite.
What are the photos?
Oh, no, she doesn't. No, you don't. Yeah, no, she doesn't want to come. Her granddaughter, she just wants to come. And it's like, they have this with the oh my God, it's adorable. She that's why I tell them, that's what I tell my kids. Jesus.
And I said,
My room's
Do you live right outside?
No, right here. We're on the block. We're not live.
What's that? I know my sister. I wondered if you lived there. That's why I asked.
But they want to cut us off. Yeah, really? Oh my God. Yeah, I always yeah, see that? There you go.
Please do not unplug the camera behind you. Please do not unplug the camera. Thank you. Please do not stand in front of the camera either. Be careful, the cord is plugged in the wall behind you underneath the mat.
No, I asked you if it's still working. Oh. It's not loud, but people are quiet.
I'm a troublemaker.
Oh.
Not troublemaker yet. She said she's the troublemaker. Absolutely. I like ice cream. What about ice cream? Yes.
By the time I got to it was already gone.
You have that on.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. And the gentleman touching the podium, I'm gonna ask you by the time it starts to take your hand off of it because it could shake the camera.
Yeah, I'm using it for support.
Pardon?
I'm using it for support for now.
Understood.
I'm gonna shake it.
This is all the
Are people still signing?
Straight back from us.
Well, yeah, but Dan's got to be here.
Yeah.
Yes, they hear, yeah, at this point, everybody's been doing.
Okay.
I didn't know who.
I don't know how much it is, because I came up here and she said they'd let us in at
Are
6:30.
people still signing in though?
Yeah, we're at capacity. So when one goes out, one can sign in.
No, I mean, the sign-in has to be everybody who wants to attend.
We're at capacity.
So what he's telling you is, no, the people that are standing outside, they have not signed in yet because we're at capacity, so we
Correct.
stopped allowing people to sign in. So, I don't think he answered your question. People are not signed in.
When one person leaves, the next one can come in.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Oh,
No problem.
Oh, really?
I don't think Tyler won the game.
That's what happened to Tyler. That's what they said it was gonna
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please face the flag.
Take that silence, please. Ms. Cook? Present. Ms. Falcone? Here. Mr. Haney?
Here.
Ms. Hassler?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Polinsky?
Here.
Mr. Stout?
Here.
Mrs. Stout? Here. All are present.
Thank you. All right, so the purpose of this meeting tonight is to adopt a temporary service contract for our water and wastewater plants. We're gonna limit the comments, obviously, as you saw, just to Topton residents, and we're gonna ask that everybody stay under 4 minutes. We'll be keeping time, so you may be notified if you don't. If you're agreeing with something you've heard before, please state, I agree with this person, and be noted for the record, and then continue with your thoughts so that we're not getting repetitive about these things. To that point, I suppose we can open up the floor now and we'll have everybody speak. I'm gonna go through the list as you've signed up, and we'll move on like that. So, Colleen, Priscilla, please.
I'm gonna come up here, hopefully people outside, if this didn't shut off, can hear, it did shut off, can hear what's going on in the meeting since they can't be in here. My name's Colleen Cristula, most of you know me, I've lived at 58 Pope for 6 years. I first want to encourage everyone who is here today to commit to attending council meetings every month so that you can have firsthand knowledge of the way in which these, your elected officials, struggle to make ends meet and make decisions in an effort to keep our community the great place to live that it is. As a person who has attended most of the council meetings over the last 6 years, I think I've earned the right to say that I am deeply concerned over the current situation. As a taxpayer, I am wondering how much of my money has been spent in the last few months of negotiations with a handful of workers to resolve labor, insurance, etc. issues. Money spent on attorney fees, representation, or as I understand, on a recent court filing, or on substitutes for these workers now they're on strike. Something just has to give. Some of you know that I spent the last 10 years of my career at the Lutheran home as their chaplain, and during that time, many of the maintenance type activities were gradually passed off to outside contractors. It was never a positive experience. Complaints went up, responsiveness went down. It is my personal opinion that the council should negotiate a settlement with its loyal and hardworking personnel to keep it local. I do not favor the contracting out for water sewer management or any other services that have been done so well by our own. At the same time, residents need to realize that everyone has the desire to see their income keep pace with expenses, and that as personnel costs increase reasonably, so will taxes. It's the price we pay to be a community. Thank you.
Scott Arndt.
Like Colleen, I'm gonna face it because I'm talking to you and not listening to them. But I do come to council meetings pretty regular. And this group right here didn't inherit
Could you
this
speak
mess.
up a little?
This group right here didn't inherit this mess. They inherited the mess. They didn't cause it. So, you know, we can't put all the blame on them. I come to these meetings and watch these people antagonize over what's gonna get paid. Where are they gonna get Rob Peter to pay Paul? Okay, so that's enough on them. Then, yesterday, I'm glad this was put on my front porch. It was helpful, because I had no idea what they were looking for. So in here it says, let the Borough Council know you want to keep the current employees that have been providing clean water and taking care of storage for years and provide them a fair wage. All right? So, and then all the keyboard warriors had everybody's salary online. I'm not gonna mention names, but in the Borough of Topton, our wastewater supervisor makes $75,230. There's two different categories that I looked up. Maintenance of streets. As of 2022, I used 2 employees. I used one in the middle, one at the bottom. Their average salary was $54,722. And there's also a job that was listed as maintenance utility worker. I did the same thing for Topton as this community. The community I used in comparison is the city of Bethlehem. They have 3 jobs posted online right now. One for wastewater supervisor with a starting salary between $64,000 and $90,000, probably based on experience. So our supervisor ends up at 75. Is that fair? He's in the middle? Fair?
That's total compensation.
Not just, let me finish.
You said it was fair.
Huh?
You asked if it was fair.
People back there say yeah. So now you got the streets, it pays $19.50 an hour, so that'd be like $40,560 for a year salary. Our two guys at that same thing are 54,722. And if you take that with the maintenance utility worker, which is at 2358 for 4946 a year, we're still $5,000 over that salary. So a fair wage is being paid, in my opinion. Topton is cash strapped. The pool didn't pay for itself, sorry to bring that up. Water and sewer is the biggest revenue Topton has. And that doesn't make expenses monthly. They gotta rob Peter to pay Paul to cover some of that cost too. So, all I'm saying is, can we get past the fair wage thing? Because I think that's being done, taken care of.
Scott, I'm gonna have to call you there. Thank you.
All right, yep.
Mary Ellen Monahan.
I defer my time to stop.
It ain't gonna be another 3 minutes. So, I think we're already paying the fair wage, they're paying the fair wage, and they might not leave the borough any other choice but to do the water. Topton is a small town without much industry. There are a lot of older people on a fixed income living in this town. I've been told 30% of the school enrollment is either at the poverty level or just above it. Not to mention enrollment is down again this year. To the residents of this town deserve better than what we got last week. People need to work together and the right things need to be in place for Topton to survive.
Thank you, Scott. I have a Dean Kirby listed.
Start by speaking.
Yeah.
Just a second. My name's Deborah Kirby, I live at 58 Hope. All I have to say briefly is, number one, there's been so much gossip and so much going on around this. I don't even know what facts are, except I think people need to show up like they are now for a borough council meeting so that everyone knows. I think I've missed 3 in the past 6 years, so I know what's, and then I watched on YouTube if I miss it. But there's a couple things. The guys that work here, I think from what I've seen from my perspective, plus I'm always rolling around town, I'm sure some of you have seen me, I see them work, which is more than I can say about other communities where you see people standing. So there's work going on. And they seem to be doing a great job. On the other hand, I also want to see numbers, you know. Every place I've ever worked, whenever we ended up contracting out to do something, it ended up being horrible in the end. Yeah, the first couple months were okay, and then it just went downhill because there was no loyalty there. But I'd rather see numbers. I want to see exactly what the numbers are to do it whichever way, whether there's 5 different options, whether there's 2 options. I want to see the facts. I want to make sure that is what is presented to us as residents, as taxpayers. And thank you for all your hard work.
I'm having a little trouble with the handwriting on this one, but Ed Holland. There you go, thanks.
I'm just gonna make this short, I'm gonna make it sweet, I'll get thrown out if I don't really care. Those guys out there deserve everything they asked for. These guys gave them 2%, and you're gonna raise their insurance 2.5%. I'm gonna tell you all right here, don't look at me like I'm stupid, because I'm not. Why don't you guys take some money out of your pocket and pay these guys what they're worth? They bust their ass for this community, and everyone in this room here can back them up. If they don't want to back them, that's fine. But you guys and girls sitting at this table, you need to get your head out of your ass and show those guys out there some support.
Amen.
Because if it wasn't for them out there, this town would be shit. And you guys all
Amen.
know. Shake your heads, no, I don't care. Because that's the facts and that's the truth. See you.
Brian Frontline.
I've been a resident of Topton since 1985. I was a letter carrier in Topton over 40 years. Everybody needs to be treated fair. Don't get me wrong, everyone needs a fair wage, and these guys are in a tough situation. I agree with Scott and Colleen. They inherited a bad situation, and unfortunately, they have a hard time making decisions. Stacy wanted to go to a conference out in Erie. They shot her down because there's no money available, okay? It probably would have benefited the council, but there was no money available. We have a lot of senior citizens in town here, okay? The only way we're gonna be able to pay for what I feel is just wages is you gotta is everybody here willing to pay more taxes, or willing to pay more on the water bill? That's the bottom line, is what it comes down to. A lot of senior citizens, like Scott said, getting free meals, kids over at the school. So it comes down to, you know, are we willing to pay that? So you have 6 people compared to 2,000-3,000 people in town. Okay, so is the 2,000-3,000 people in town willing to pay the extra money for 6 people that don't live in town? Or aren't gonna have to pay their higher water bill, aren't gonna have to pay the higher taxes? It's a tough decision. I'm neutral as of right now. Like she said, I'm trying to find numbers. I'm not committed either way. And I'm sure the people that are here, hopefully they make the right decision. We're in a democratic society, so whatever decision is made, hopefully, whether you agree with it or not, hopefully you can at least come to the conclusion that they made the right decision, whether you agree with it or not. That's all I have to say.
Heather Garrett.
All right, good evening, members of the board. My name is Heather Garris. I'm at 23 West Smith Street. I am a resident of Topton Borough. I am here today to express my strong opposition to the proposal to the outsource of our road crews work to subcontractors. Outsourcing municipal services such as those performed by our road crews has been widely debated in many communities across the country. While it may seem like a cost-saving measure on the surface, numerous studies have shown that outsourcing often ends up costing taxpayers more in the long run. A comprehensive study by the Economic Policy Institute found that outsourcing public services can lead to higher costs due to several factors, including profit margins for private contractors, administrative costs for managing contracts, and the potential for cost overruns and reduced quality of services. Specifically, the study indicated that outsourced services can be 10 to 30% more expensive than those provided in-house due to these additional costs. Additionally, a report by the In the Public Interest highlighted that outsourcing can result in hidden costs such as transition costs, monitoring and oversight expenses, and legal fees associated with contract disputes. The report found that on average, these hidden costs can increase the total cost of outsourced services by 15 to 40%. The report also pointed out that private contractors might prioritize profit over public interest, potentially compromising service quality. Our road crews have a deep understanding of the unique needs and challenges of our community. They are not just workers, they are members of our community who are committed to maintaining our roads, water, and sewer systems, and ensuring our public spaces are well kept. By keeping these services in-house, we retain direct oversight and accountability, ensuring that the work is done to the highest standards that our residents expect and deserve. Outsourcing could also negatively impact local employment. Our road crews provide stable, well-paying jobs for many residents. Subcontracting this work could mean lower wages and fewer benefits for workers, which could hurt our local economy and reduce the quality of life for many families in Topton Borough. In conclusion, outsourcing our road crews work is not a solution that benefits our community. The potential for increased costs, reduced service quality, and negative impacts on local employment far outweigh any perceived short-term savings. I urge the board to reconsider this plan and to keep our essential services within our community managed by our dedicated and skilled road crews. Thank you.
Last day I have a deal heist. That's perfect.
Just yesterday, I had some issues This is on a more personal level than technical, the way everybody is describing. But I had some issues with my plumbing, one being my toilets, which would not flush. The issue was not from the toilet itself. The plumber discovered that. He said it was coming from the house to the street. So he said to me, I said to him, now what? So he said, I'll go up to the guys at the borough and talk to them. I said, good luck. I said, they're on strike, which he didn't know. So we did sort of resolve the problem, but I do not want to see these guys lose their jobs or whatever you're deciding to do. They do good work, and had they been on working at the time, the tank that's at the end of my street at Washington Street would have been monitored, what they do every day, and the sewage issue would not have been a problem. If I would have had to let that go, I would have had a terrible mess in my basement, because the night before, it was already gurgling through the vent pipe in the floor. And like I just said, the water, after 5 or 6 buckets of water down the toilet, did not take the water away. So, I mean, had somebody been on duty that knows what they were doing, that wouldn't have become a problem at all. So I don't know how many other people have had sewage issues.
Gurgling at my house.
Gurgling, and I mean, it's, and it isn't just, they don't just take care of that problem, I see them do other things, so, and they do a good job. So I just want to encourage all of you to keep these guys on board. Don't let them go. Don't discourage them so much that they leave and you're stuck hiring someone else that doesn't know what they're doing, or to another company that doesn't know what they're doing. So just keep that in mind. Very basic.
Thank you. As we do not have anyone else signed up to speak tonight, we'll move on. I want to reiterate again that the contract we're discussing tonight is temporary. This is not, it extends for 30 days from July 11th, when it first showed up on site. It renews automatically each month, but it's not meant to be a permanent solution to anything at the moment. The borough does intend to be at the table at our next scheduled meeting for contract negotiations with the labor union. So talks will still continue.
This is.
When is that?
I believe it's August 1st.
August 1st?
This is a contract for as needed and emergency services. This is important to keep the plant, sewer and water plants running and in good shape and safe. And that is, as Mr. Polinsky said, all that it is for. It is a temporary agreement.
All right, to that, council has it before them, we'll all have a chance to review this. So I'd be looking for a motion to accept the temporary contract with Our Water Services LLC.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Will you be sharing those numbers with the public?
This document is public knowledge, right?
Yes, the public document has just been approved, so it's public.
Where is it?
Right.
And then if there's nothing else on the agenda tonight, I'd be looking for.
Ethan, can I answer Gil's question?
I'll give you a minute, yeah.
Part of your problem had nothing to do with the workers. Your problem is caused, when it rains, the pump station down on Washington Street needs to be replaced. It was put in 1951. That pump station runs like every 10 minutes. The pot is too small. I got them numbers from Randy and Alex when I questioned it. The pump station is out for bid. They didn't get no bids the first time because the area that the people need for equipment is too small. Our engineer, who I don't care for, should have known that. They went back, got new permits. Unfortunately, with the strike, they didn't receive no bids last week because nobody wanted to come in and they had questions. So it's not just because they're out. It's a problem with the pump station. It's pretty much wore out. And I hope everything can get resolved with that and get replaced before it gets worse.
May I ask a question? That pump station, how many residents does that service? Is it just Washington Street, or is it other?
No, it's a considerable amount of the borough.
It's what?
It's a considerable amount of the borough. I don't know the
Oh.
exact number of homes or
Approximately half of the borough.
approximately half.
Half.
We'll take a couple more questions with them this week.
I'm not supposed to speak because I'm not actually a resident, but I pay for my water and sewer. And I live on Woodside. Why was my drain gurgling then? Never happened before. I've lived there for 6 years. Never once heard a sound out of it. All of a sudden, we're having water issues, sewer issues, and this is happening. So can you answer that for me?
That's not, I don't have the technical knowledge to answer that for you.
Ethan, can I ask you a question? Have the subcontractors been at the sewer facilities?
Yeah.
They have. Residents here, you know whether or not your sewer gurgles when those men out there are actually working. But there's been subcontractors there, and now your sewer's gurgling.
Yeah.
That should answer some questions.
Yes.
About who trained them? Who trained them to run our equipment for the borough?
That's a question over there.
All right. The next thing, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I have a question though, like.
You had, we gave you time to speak. All in favor?
Anybody that wants to hear the truth, come outside. I'll happily share every number with you. The borough workers are outside. We'll answer any questions you have. You'll actually get truth outside.
Hey, be sitting at the table.